of you would consider yourself a good person? How many of you would consider yourself a bad person? Thanks ever so much, yeah. Usually there's not that many people that would like to do that. And I think if we were going to be really honest, what we would probably say is most of the time we're actually quite ordinary. We do the best that we can with the information that we've got, but sometimes we make a few mistakes and we get a few things wrong. Does that sound about fair? Okay, but the trouble with this is it gets us into this binary thinking that the existence of being a good person or a bad person is something that we can achieve. And this isn't very helpful for us as humans, is it? Because we all want to be this good person, we've just proven that. Nobody wants to be the bad person. So when we think about this, this is really unhelpful, but how do we know whether or not we are indeed a good person or we are a bad person? We tell ourselves stories. Stories to give us the evidence so we know what is happening. Stories like yesterday, after your lunch, you had a yoghurt. And when you were having that yoghurt, you didn't just go into the kitchen and put it into your normal household bin, did you? No, you went to the sink, you washed it up, you put it in the recycling bin because you were a good person. But the trouble is with this narrative we create, it's not necessarily true, is it? It keeps us in that binary thinking. And we also worry about the stories that other people might be telling about us. How does everybody know if we're a good person or not? How might they judge me? How are they creating a narrative as to which story I'm upholding or not upholding? And then the problem with this is that it keeps us in our comfort zone. It stops us from being prepared to step out of it a little bit, to feel uncomfortable, to take a few risks. And this is a challenge that I had in my first management role. So you might not know this about me. I spent a lot of time working on oil refineries. And as I can tell you, a woman in that environment is character building. So when I had the opportunity to bring together my first team in my first management role, I was committed to making sure that that team was going to be as diverse and as inclusive as it possibly could be. And I did that, I achieved that. I brought together this group of people that were representative of multiple genders and multiple ethnicities. Actions of a good person, right? Except when I had brought together this team of people, yes, I had brought these people into the world. Yes, I had brought them together, and we had the only team in my entire organisation that said that. But I wasn't asking some of the questions that I should have been asking of my team. Questions like, what was it like for those black men reporting into me, a white woman, in an organisation where they were still representative of the only? And do you know why I wasn't asking those questions? Because I was scared. I was scared that I would step out of my comfort zone, I would make a mistake, I might accidentally say something racist. And if I did that, what would that make me? I didn't want to be the bad person because I wasn't a bad person. I had put in the time and the effort and I brought this group of people together. I had made sure that they were in my team. I had put my yogurt pot in the recycling. I was a good person. What I had also done is put my needs and my ego ahead of the needs of my team. So while I was wrestling with this excruciating concept of, am I a good person? Am I a bad person? What is going on? I had a pivotal moment, not just in my career, but in my life. I realised, what if I just showed up as me? Ordinary, imperfect, human. What if I embraced the vulnerability of who I was and accepted that I didn't know everything? What if I started to ask those questions that I felt a bit nervous about and admitted I didn't know the answer, I didn't know how this was going to go? What if saying the wrong thing didn't have to be the end of the conversation, but it could be the start? So my time is going to come to an end soon, but this means that yours is going to begin. So what I would like to invite of you, please, is how would it take for you to stop thinking about good and bad binaries? What would you need to be doing to stop thinking that there could be just right and wrong and you could live in that middle space? How can you embrace both and thinking? How can you find the balance for your vulnerability and the person that you would like to show up as? How can you move your conversations from a place of defensiveness to a place of curiosity? From moving from a place of judgment of each other and yourself to a place of compassion? Moving away from these divisive, polarised opinions to some connection. So my invite to you today is, if you were going to be here as your ordinary, imperfect self, what is the one conversation you would like to have? Who are you going to have it with? And now, when will you have it? Thank you.